Right now you have access to everything. Music, videos, messages, news, games, food, people, all of it within arm's reach. And yet sometimes in the middle of all that, you feel it. A restless, crawling discomfort. A low hum of unease with no clear source. You pick up your phone, put it down, pick it up again. Nothing satisfies you. You are bored. And somehow that feels worse than it should. Here is the strange part. You are not suffering from a lack of things to do. You are suffering from something far older than your phone, far older than your civilization, far older than you. And the real answer to why doing nothing makes you anxious is far stranger than you ever imagined. Boredom is one of the most misunderstood states in human psychology. Most people treat it like a minor inconvenience, a gap between activities, a waiting room emotion. But neuroscientists and evolutionary psychologists have spent decades studying it, and what they found turns everything you think about boredom completely upside down. Your brain was not built for stillness. It was built for threat detection, for resource seeking, for constant environmental scanning. For 99% of human history, your ancestors lived in environments where doing nothing was genuinely dangerous. Sitting still under a tree meant you were not gathering food. It meant you were not watching for predators. It meant you were not solving the problems that would kill you by nightfall. Your brain learned something from that. It learned that stillness equals danger. It wired itself to treat inactivity as an alarm signal, and that wiring, millions of years in the making, is still running inside you right now. Psychologist Sandi Mann at the University of Central Lancashire has studied boredom extensively and describes it as a search for neural stimulation that the current environment is failing to provide. Your brain is not resting when you are bored. It is scanning. It is pinging the environment, asking the same question on a loop. Is there something I should be doing? Is something being missed? Is something wrong? That internal alarm is what you feel as restlessness. That low hum of anxiety when you sit still is not your mind malfunctioning. It is your mind working exactly as it was designed to work. The problem is that the design is ancient and the environment it was built for no longer exists. Think about what a moment of true stillness meant for your ancestors. No fire crackling, no group nearby, no tools in hand. Silence and inactivity were signals that something had gone wrong. Either you were alone, which was lethal, or the environment had gone quiet, which meant a predator was close. Your nervous system does not know the difference between that ancient stillness and the stillness of sitting on your couch on a Tuesday afternoon. Both feel the same at the biological level. Both trigger the same response. This is what researchers call the idleness aversion effect. Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran a series of experiments that became one of the most cited studies in modern psychology. He put participants alone in a room with nothing to do for 15 minutes. The room was empty. No phone, no book, no distraction. They were simply asked to sit with their thoughts. The majority of participants reported that the experience was deeply unpleasant. Many struggled to stay in the room. In one version of the study, participants were given the option to administer mild electric shocks to themselves during the 15 minutes. A significant portion chose the shocks over sitting quietly. They literally preferred pain to doing nothing. Read that again. They chose pain over stillness. That is not weakness. That is ancient wiring doing exactly what it evolved to do. Discomfort is an action signal. It is your brain saying, move, do something, change this situation. And in the ancestral environment, that impulse kept your ancestors alive. But here is where it gets strange for modern humans, because you live in a world that has responded to that discomfort in a very specific way. The entire digital economy was built to answer one question: what can we give people to fill the moment their brain starts to scan? Your phone exists in its current form as a direct response to idleness aversion. Every notification, every infinite scroll, every autoplay video is engineered to intercept that restless signal the moment it appears. And so you never have to sit with the discomfort. You never have to tolerate the stillness. Your brain fires the alarm and within seconds something catches it. The alarm is silenced. The loop resets. And you never develop any tolerance for the underlying state. Neuroscientist Mary Helen Immordino-Yang at the University of Southern California has studied what happens to the brain during unstructured rest. Those moments of quiet, undirected thought that boredom would normally force on you. Her research shows that this kind of mental wandering is not wasted time. It is when the brain consolidates memory, builds empathy, processes emotional experience, and generates creative insight. The default mode network, the part of your brain that activates when you are not focused on a task, is not idle during rest. It is doing some of the most important work your brain ever does. But you have to tolerate the discomfort long enough to get there. You have to sit with the restless scan, the low alarm, the crawling unease, and not silence it. And for most modern humans, that has become one of the hardest things to do. Every time you reach for your phone, the moment boredom arrives, you are not relaxing. You are interrupting a process that your brain desperately needs. You are silencing an alarm that, if you let it run its course, would lead you somewhere more interesting than the next video. This is the boredom effect. It is not that boredom makes you lazy. It is not that boredom is a sign of low intelligence or weak character. It is that boredom is a biological signal from a mind that was built for a world that no longer exists, firing in an environment that has learned exactly how to silence it before it can do its job. The ancient humans who felt that restless discomfort and responded to it, who used it to drive them to gather more food, explore new territory, build new tools, strengthen relationships, those were the ones who survived. Their restlessness was not a flaw, it was an engine. You inherited that engine. The question is what you let it drive. Your ancestors sat around fires in the dark with no phones, no screens, no endless content. They told stories. They stared into the flames. They let their minds drift. They tolerated the silence. And from that silence came mythology, art, social bonding, and the kind of deep thought that built everything you now use to escape from silence. Boredom was never the enemy. It was the door. So the next time you pick up your phone because the room feels too quiet, try setting it down, just for a moment. Let the alarm fire, let the restlessness arrive. Notice it without silencing it. Your brain is not broken. It is ancient. It is scanning for the thing you need to do next. And if you are quiet enough, long enough, it might actually find it. Right now you have access to everything, and maybe, just for a moment, that is exactly the problem.